Oh yeah, one time for my people that are indigos, and two times for my people that are vegans. And it is truly a struggle for us vegans out here during this time of the year. I can't even get into it. It's so hectic, man. Anyway, we are up, folks, to over 14,000 listeners per episode and over 865,000 downloads worldwide just this year alone, and we've been at it for 3 solid years. I appreciate all you guys who have been rocking with me on this journey, and we are still growing, baby. It is all because of you guys, most definitely. We are the people who have dedicated their lives to music, art, and research in every aspect, and we want to allow you that opportunity to tell your story. Man, we've had celebrities on the show, from Grammy Award-winning artists to nominees, to actors, comedians, technology geniuses, from authors to professors and aliens, or people who think they're aliens. It doesn't matter who you are or what walk of life that you come from. Come on the show and talk to me. So check it out. To book an interview or just to share a real cool story, email me at theradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. I am passionate about what I do, just as passionate about what you do, and together we can get your voice heard by the people that should hear it. So let's create something incredible. And with that, hello out there, and welcome to another episode of this podcast right here on Vigilantes Radio. Thank you guys again for tuning in. It means so much to me, for being a part of the audience family. So listen closely. If you like information on how to call in or ask questions or speak to our guest, you can always dial 701-801-9813 or hop in the mix directly from my website, which again is onlyonemediagroup.com. Just scroll over to the Vigilantes Radio tab, and there's a button that says Go Live. Just slap that button, and you're right here in the mix with the rest of us. And as always, my friends, all these episodes are available for free download after the show. Well, let's say 1 hour after the show, because we switched our platforms. So now it's an hour wait on everything, but it will be there nonetheless. It takes maybe 24 hours to show up in iTunes. Is on YouTube. Yeah. So as the show ends, at least 1 hour before afterwards, you can grab it, the free download. Just visit the website again, which is onlyonemediagroup.com, or visit our platform at Spreaker.com/onlyonemediagroup. And that goes for every single show that I've ever aired, so you should check them all out. Tonight's episode is the Carl Anderson interview, and I am your host, Deanie Mussolini. All right, let's see if we have any announcements. Not really, not that many, really. We're trying to get on iHeartRadio, so we need about 100 followers. That's it. And I know you guys can do that. Last night we topped 17,000 online at the same time just to hear the interview from last night. So I know you guys can go click the follow button. And see, it's just the tricky part. It's on our platform, which is Spreaker. It's not like it's iTunes or YouTube or anything. So you have to go to the platform just to make it count for us, I guess. But either way, no big deal, because we're still on the app called Podmatic. Yeah, so you can carry us around in your pocket and just listen to us 24/7, or, backtrack through the archives, hear some good interviews. So that's real cool, right? So yeah, just do me that favor, and it don't matter. You can follow if you want to. If you do, I may, send you a turkey sandwich or something, and a thank you. Other than that, let's see, the 27th of December, we are dropping, or I'm dropping, a project I've been working on for at least 2 years and a half. And I know I made a few posts on Facebook about it. Not too many. You guys did all of the work for me. Like, how cool was that? Like, I posted the post, and you guys shared it over 1,500 times in, 2 days. Like, I was super stoked. Like, I didn't have to do any more promotion because you guys were doing the promotion for me, which is very cool. in my opinion, and I'm very, very grateful. But anyway, so this project, I know I didn't give a playlist, and I did that on purpose. It's just to build a little mystery around what the things I was working on. So I worked with 2 Grammy Award-winning artists on the record. So there's some artists on there that you know, and some that you should know, and some that you would like to know. Yeah. As far as songs go, there's like some old stuff. There's some new stuff, some remix stuff, some unreleased stuff, and just stuff in general. Like, yeah, I was really, proud of it. And it's right after Christmas, the 27th, so it's right on time if you ask me. But yeah, I would definitely appreciate you guys if you just scoop it up. It's for free, and no matter, how much hard work I put into it, it is for free. So yeah, so feel free to download it, or you can even bootleg it if you want. I don't care. I just want you guys to listen. So sharing is caring, remember? Sharing is caring. But it will be on iTunes maybe in January, just for the ones who do want to show support. You don't have to that way. I just want you to listen, man. Really, just listen. Okay? A lot of cool stuff. I can't say that enough. Okay, so I think that is it for January the 3rd, I'll be in New York performing. So I would love to meet you and greet you. I'll be out in Amityville. I know, right? Scary. But it's going to be a real cool show there at the Music Hall. And so you guys are invited. Well, of course, you have to purchase tickets. You can go to songkakick.com, purchase your tickets there. We'll be doing a contest and giving 10 free tickets away via the podcast, but you got to tune in. So I'm broadcasting every night this week and next week, except for Christmas, New Year's, and the 27th, which is my son's birthday. So no broadcasts, but I will be running the contest because I got interviews lined up all the way through January, right? Real cool. Yeah, Deanie's working. Okay, so that is it for the announcements. Let's see what else we have here. Coach Deanie tips. All right, for you newbies who are just joining on, and let's see, we have, oh my God, I'm going to have to change the episode count. It's no longer 14,000. We are actually up to 16.3 thousand folks live with us. How awesome is that? It must be all for Carl Anderson. Like, this guy must be really huge than I really thought he was. Nevertheless, you guys are great, and thanks for joining. So, look, if you're a newbie, I go by Coach Deanie as well. I'm a music industry insider, okay? I've been signed. I've been on tour. I manage tours. I book artists. I managed artists. I've been an artist. So I've been on the ins and outs. I've been rich. I've been poor. I've been in between. I've been homeless. So, yeah, a lot of experience, okay? A lot of trial and error. A lot of jumping in the game at an early age and having to find out how cold the industry really is. And then there's some warmy parts, too, that make you feel all love, like you guys make me feel. So what I do full-time is I'm Coach Deanie, and I basically just coach artists through every step of the music industry as far as artist development and, pitch ideas. And the reason I call myself coach because I don't do any of the work. What? Yeah, none. A coach cannot go out and perform for his players on the field, okay? So I can show you all the cool exercises and tips and how to be a better artist, or in football, a better player, but I can't play the game for you. So that's my whole approach to the music business, is that I have all the training tips and exercises for you, but I cannot do the work for you. And, yeah, I make a real cool living off of that, doing that, just living dreams out. Yeah. And I hope you do that one day, too, live out your dreams. But here's the Coach Deanie tip for the night. Here are 5 tips for sending better holiday emails to your fans. Okay. So how can you create an email newsletter that drives engagement and boosts sales this holiday season? What? You don't have an email list? Why not? You should definitely have a email blast system. How else do you communicate with your fans? What? You don't have one? Man, you should have had one like yesterday. Anyway, get with Coach Deanie at the show, and I'll show you some free email blast systems out there. Okay. Did you know that 20% of all music sales happen in the last 6 weeks of the year? And that makes sense, since similar end-of-the-year sales spikes happen for books, clothes, and almost every other product on the market, except for like bug spray and bathing suits. Right, who needs those? But seriously, like during Black Friday, how many marketing emails did you receive from Walmart, Target, Sears, AT&T, all the national companies? How many emails did you receive? Okay, how many emails did you send out? None? What? Get out of here. Man. Well, good thing Black Friday does come around every year, and Cyber Monday for that fact. But anyway, with the boom in sales, of course, comes a huge increase in marketing emails too. And I just said that, right? Why? Because email is still the best way to reach so many strangers online. And everyone out there with something to sell knows that. Walmart knows it. AT&T knows it. At least they be, junking up my email with it. And I say maybe out of 4 out of the 10 emails they sent me, I actually clicked on it, just because of the title or I've seen a picture of a product. Anyway, to make your email newsletters as effective as possible this season, you've got to cut through the rest of the noise in your fans' inbox. And here are a few ways to make sure people are seeing, opening, reading, and acting on to the info in your holiday emails. Number 1, give your emails a special seasonal makeover. If you use the same template in your list management system for a while, it is definitely time to refresh. Spruce up the design in your emails with a holiday theme header and some festive images, fonts, colors, etc., etc. And make sure your website and your social media matches the drapes, okay? And I don't know about you, but a lot of my peers, they seem to be more keen with like holiday themes. I don't know, like you go into a storefront and they're playing holiday music, and all of a sudden you're in the mood to spend money, right? Yes, all the time. It works. It's like magic. So a lot of people like to see when artists are engaged into the holidays, just like they are. So go ahead and, change your fonts to like red or something, green, maybe some reindeers here. No, that's corny. Don't do that. But at least make it holiday themed, a few snowflakes here. Just go look at Walmart.com or RadioShack.com and you'll get an idea of what I'm talking about. All right. Number 2, enticing pricing for a limited time. People love coupons. So run a holiday sale on your CDs and maybe other band merch. A buy 2 for 1. Everybody loves that. BOGO, baby, BOGO. End the sale on Christmas or New Year's Eve, fans should get a notable percentage off the usual price of the disc, or even 2 for 1, as I just mentioned. 1 purchase, 2 gifts. And also tell your fans that like CD Baby even offers 1 cent shipping on any order of 3 or more CDs or vinyl records. Yes, vinyl records are coming back. All right, number 3, don't be afraid to send an email more than once. As I mentioned before, I am bombarded by Walmart, Black Friday, and Christmas sales. Like I have at least 10 a day, every day. And maybe 4 out of those 10, I will actually click on and see what kind of deals I can get from Walmart. I don't like walking in Walmart, the store, but I will do the .com for sure. So as long as you're not sending the same exact emails, it's okay to contact your fans a few times throughout the holidays. Frequency is always the key. And people are busy, and they may not, have opened your emails earlier because there's so many emails coming in, like, your email gets pushed to the bottom. So always consider that when you're sending these out. Like, okay, I sent one out at, let's see, 8 o'clock in the morning is usually when people are just hanging around the office drinking lattes and hot coffee or hot cocoa, and they're just browsing their phones, killing time before they punch in. Or the ones who are just getting home from work and they're chilling on the couch as the wife is cooking or the husband is cooking, whichever one works for the household, and they're just scrolling on the phone through their emails. And did you send one out at that time? Nope. You sent one out earlier and it got pushed all the way down. They're not going to browse that far. At least I'm not. So you got to think about those time periods. The best time of day to post on Facebook, the best time of day to post on Twitter, and the best time to send out emails. More than once, okay? Number 4, it's not just about your latest release, okay? Like, me personally, I like hearing from an artist that I like. Like, you know, I had turkey sandwich and green tea for lunch. Maybe boring to some, but there are some of my fans that likes that, you know. They will soak it up like, oh, I had one too. Like, really? Let's tweet about it. Deanie and Angelica share. Okay, anyway. So you should remind your fans, even if they've already purchased your whole back catalog just for themselves, that your older albums are always new to somebody else out there, and they make great gifts. Yes, they do. Stocking stuffers. And sharing is caring. So anyway, number 5, give a present to your fans. So make sure to always thank the folks out there who enjoy your music. Offer something in each holiday email that shows your appreciation. There are free, like, Christmas cards that you can send out, and there's some you could even, like, do a live video. So just think about it. And I'm going to give you this one for free, no charge. I won't send you an invoice from Coach Deanie, I promise. But there are a few free Christmas cards where you can actually make a video. So how about this? You just wrote a real cool song, and you post on Facebook. Okay, if you want to hear this cool song I just wrote, sign up for my email list. And when the holidays when the holiday rolls around, they will get this real cool Christmas card. Open the card, and there you go, strumming and singing this new exclusive song, only available in a holiday gift card, only if they signed up for your email blast. So make a special holiday video, a free song download, maybe a wintry tour diary, like 'tis the season for giving back to your fans. Like I could say thank you 1,000 times, but it all becomes redundant after a while. How many times can you say thank you? So here's what I do. This is what Deanie does. I will post something personal about myself on Facebook and invite others to share something as well in the same time period. Like I'll say, hey, this happened to me around Christmas at this time of year, or around this year. What cool stories do you have? And you engage with the stories that they share with you. Man, that builds so much rampart with the person on a personal level. They will be your fan for life. And fans for life equals super fans, and super fans equal I'm buying everything Deanie comes out with. It doesn't matter if it costs $1 million. Okay? Maybe not that, but you get what I'm saying. All right, that is Coach Deanie tips for tonight. Excuse me, I had to sneeze there. All right, so let's get into the real reason why over 15,000 people are live with us. They are here to hear Carl Anderson and not little Deanie Mussolini. That's okay. He's pretty cool, so it didn't hurt my feelings if you did not come to hear me. I'm okay with that, I promise you. Okay, I have always long maintained since starting this podcast on Vigilantes Radio, let's see, back in 2013, that one of the coolest aspects of what I'm doing here is being able to talk to people from so far away. Sometimes they're nearby and in different parts of the world entirely. Just think about it. This is the internet. There's so many people around the world, and they're using the internet to listen in on really cool artists like Carl Anderson. So another one of the coolest things about this is that, though, is being able to share these experiences with all of you out there across the globe and even in outer space via satellite. I'm just kidding about that part, but not really. Like I did mention earlier, there are sometimes aliens on the show. So I want you guys to meet Carl Anderson, coming to us all the way from Nashville, Tennessee, but a native of Virginia, employing a work ethic I can truly respect. We'll talk tonight about Carl's latest release, Risk of Loss, and guess what? Our good friend Don DeLago released it via Velvet Elk Records. And if you remember, we interviewed Don back in August of this year. Real cool guy. You should check him out. He has like a picture of himself in an astronaut suit on Twitter. Yeah, real cool. Check it out. I was impressed. So, and you should check out the archive for that cool interview. And we're going to see how Carl plans and is looking forward to continue his momentum into next year and beyond. Never afraid to try anything new or experiment with new ideas and avenues to help highlight the music. I was in touch with the PR camp of Carl and got him over to our crusade of Vigilantes Radio. And after a long week, very long week, a lot of Red Bulls, okay, here we are, full-fledged into unraveling the truth, unraveling the meanings, unraveling the stories behind the music that Carl sings about. And I couldn't be happier about it. Like, you can hear it in my voice. I'm super excited. I cannot hide it. They might see me for that. Carl seems like a great guy, really. Passionate about the music he makes, realistic and knowledgeable about the state of the industry and his local scene. And it all comes from the core belief that music is not something he should ever give up, despite the hardships, the thoughts of going for broke, the heartbreaks, the long nights, and lonely roads. Or maybe that's just my life, but we shall see, right? This just, got to be an awesome journey, right? Well, believe me, we'll get him to say so himself, even better than I could ever come up with. I hope you guys really enjoy this just as much as I do. So let's take a second or two to welcome Carl onto our podcast. Welcome, Carl.
Hello. Hey, how are you?
I am great, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right, man. I'm coming at you from Charlottesville, Virginia.
Oh, you're back home, hey?
I came back today from Nashville for the holidays.
Oh, man, that is awesome.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes, how's the weather there?
It's cold. It's like 30 degrees.
30,
so
wow.
It's not too bad. It's chilly, but it's all right. I've been recovering from a little sinus infection. So
oh, geez.
Hanging out, resting up.
Definitely, man. Definitely. All right. Shall we go ahead and dive deep into this interview?
Hell yeah.
First of all, I want to say thank you for being here with us tonight as well, and congratulate you on your fantastic work that you're doing on your end. Truly looking forward to the rest of your journey. And looking at your official website over at thecarlanderson.com, I was absolutely blown away. There's so much to look at and learn about you. So the first question that comes to my mind is why? And I think it's fantastic that you're putting as much into your social media pages and website, how everything is so cohesive and ties in together. But what I want to hear from you is, why has it been so important for you to stay on top of it online, the life of Carl Anderson, and what benefits have you seen come your way from your excellent work on the internet?
Well, I think I think for any artist working today, in order to reach your fan base, I think you have to remain present online on your social media accounts. It's fun too. I like to kind of post on Instagram and keep the website up to date with tour information, and it's just interesting. It keeps things interesting for anyone staying hip to your your career, and it's just a fun way of interacting on a day-to-day basis with people. I think I'm most like, probably most enjoy Instagram and doing the stories, and especially when we're out on the road playing. It's a good way for friends and family to keep in touch too, to see what I'm doing, because I'm often busy enough to where it's difficult for me to call home and keep everyone abreast. And so people can follow me on my social media accounts and see what I'm doing, and see when I'm releasing new music. And I think it's really important to stay present, to bring people into your world, especially now that we have the capability of doing that. I think it's really important. It's something that we all have to do, I think, if we want to stay in the minds and the hearts of listeners. And so I've really enjoyed it. I love having the website, and I've been tweeting a little bit, here and there for the last few years. I like dropping a hot tweet every once in a while.
Right.
But it's great, man. I dig it. You kind of have to do it. You kind of have to do it to stay alive.
Oh yeah. Couldn't agree with you more there. And I think that's incredible, man, that, you like to stay on top of things. And I think I've literally just read, like, the best thing I've ever read in years, and it's right from your asset. And it's the fact that, and what I read was, the fact that Carl Anderson inherited a rare gift is clear, but what every artist can never know is the reality of whether that gift is going to save him or destroy him. The whole vocation is an act of faith, and that is worth the risk. Oh my God, that was so powerful.
Yeah.
Man.
That was written. That was written by a friend of mine, James Wilson. Actually, he was a great writer,
Bravo.
and also
yes.
He's a great songwriter and a writer in general. And he's actually the lead singer of a band called Sons of Bill, from Charlottesville, where I'm from, and he, when considering who he wanted to have write this, like a biography, or a bio section for the website, it was easy to call on James, because he's just such a talented writer, and we knew he'd come up with something great like that. But he's right. It is a risk, worthwhile, and for me anyway, you sort of get into it. I sort of fell into it naturally, and will it destroy me? Who knows? I hope not, but I do know that I will. I do plan on doing it forever, but we'll see. It can often feel like it's it can often feel destructive. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So that was an incredible comment by James Wilson, and a true insight into a conversation that I have most often with a lot of bands and artists when I'm talking to them on how to push forward. I'm a firm believer that your art should be what eventually kills you in life, and from spending so much time and love and dedication on whatever it may be from anyone. And I myself truly don't believe in time off when it comes to doing what you love. I mean, why would anybody want time off anyway? It doesn't. That's beyond me, right?
I don't know. Not in this business.
Right. Yeah, not in this business. But many artists don't really realize is that the work really doesn't ever stop. So here's my question, in all of that rambling, which I am super good at, just like James Wilson is good at making powerful statements, I'm good at rambling. And I want to know, you agreed, I want to know about how you spend your downtime on tours and spot dates. I explained to independent artists that just because there's an off day in between a couple of shows a night on tour, it really shouldn't be an off day. I figured you're out in your zone or on tour in another area, and there's all kinds of ways to use that downtime on tour to connect with the area that you're in through all kinds of different ways. So what advice would you give to bands or artists in terms of how they can help their band or brand when they're not on stage during a tour?
Well, I think that these days it's we have the capability of taking our businesses around on tour with us, and I think that you can be very productive on days off just by keeping like we were talking about earlier, keeping all your social media accounts up to date, and on tour there's a lot of I think you should always be reaching out for press opportunities, whether that be going into a radio station and playing and doing an interview, or doing a phone interview like we're doing now, or just going out and seeing other shows, meeting other artists. I think that it's traveling can be very productive, although I will say that you're often pretty exhausted on the road, and so you do need time to catch up on rest and to remain productive in your shows. And but there's just tons of stuff you can do. I mean, and when you're traveling, it's just usually for me, I like to try and connect with other artists in those areas and make fun videos. Or we were just out on the road this past month, and we had a little documentary film crew following us, so we stayed busy wandering around making this movie. But yeah, I would suggest my advice would be to just just always be seeking out opportunities to connect with artists and radio stations and the people and your fans. Yeah, I don't know if that makes any sense at all.
It does.
But
it does.
Just keep working it. Keep working it. Keep people in the know.
Right.
When you're out on the town, make some videos. And, yeah. So, but I also think that it is important to rest up if you need the rest. I got pretty sick on this last tour, towards the end of it, luckily. But so the days off, I think that you just have to listen to your gut. You can't always be pushing it too hard, but it's good. It's part of the reason I like doing this so much is getting to travel around and visit new places, and I think that's an invaluable aspect of touring. Yeah.
All right. So we should really spend some time on your music, as well as continue to pick your brain on your philosophies, of course. You've accomplished a ton from what I can see on the performance side of 2014, 2015, 2016, performing at Stagecoach this past April, just getting off tour now. It's massive, man, massive. And we're just discovering you now, of course. Well, some of us.
Yeah.
So for the ones out there who don't know of you, I wonder if we can get a little history of the music journey of Carl Anderson and how and where it all started, like way back when.
Totally. Well, let's start from the very beginning. I grew up in just outside of Charlottesville in a town called Madison County. I was born there and spent the first 8 years of my life there. And my mother and father both were musical, and so there was often music being played in my house, and so I think very early on I realized I liked to sing, and I would sing all the time with them, and by the time I got to be a little older, in middle school, I picked up the guitar and started playing around with that a little bit, although not seriously until high school. I was involved in doing stage productions, musicals, and that's the way I like to entertain people in high school, in the high school years. But about midway through high school, I I began playing guitar more seriously and writing songs. And there's some music I was listening to a ton of music. Of course, I always had been really compelled by other artists like James Taylor and Joni Mitchell, stuff that my parents played in the house. And I just started playing all the time and writing. And then I started recording myself. I got like I had a desktop computer and a recording program that I used, a couple of microphones, and I just fell in love with the process of writing and recording. And I loved experimenting with sounds and hearing myself play back and, different things I could do with my voice. And I always knew I wanted to entertain in some way. I loved theater. I loved being on stage, performing for people and making people laugh, and being able to look out and see the reactions on people's faces in real time was really powerful feeling for me. And so basically I just played all throughout high school. I was either doing plays or playing music, and by the time I finished school, I decided to forego the idea of college and just get involved in the Charlottesville music scene, which turned out to be a really fruitful, valuable community to be a part of. Just a lot of working artists that I was able to meet, and a few of them took me under their wing. Sons of Bill, who I mentioned them earlier, James Wilson sings in that band. He and those guys took me under their wing, and I was able to go out and tour a lot with them. And so I happened to have a couple of really good, basically what turned out to be apprenticeships with bands and artists. And I've, made a debut album in 2010, an album called Wolftown. And I put that out, and it sort of then allowed me to, it was sort of the calling card I needed to be able to go out and tour regionally, and sort of my first shows outside of the state of Virginia. And from there on, it was just, I made a second record, Risk of Loss, and which has just recently been re-released through Don DeLego's label, Velvet Elk. And basically, since high school, I've just been playing and writing and learning to be a songwriter and learning, what it means, to do this for a living. And it truly has been a wild ride so far. It's, I've been year after year, all I've done basically, I've had odd jobs to make ends meet, and in all of my spare time, I've devoted to writing and recording and traveling around and playing shows and building up this fan base. And it's been a truly rewarding journey so far, and I don't see any end to it. I feel like it's building momentum and steam now, and that, and every, and you become a better songwriter. It's a craft, and the longer you do it, and the better you become at it. And I think that I'm excited now that I feel like I'm making some of my best work, and I'll start work on a new record in January, I think at the end of January. And so it's just, I realized very early on that even in high school, I figured that I felt so impassioned by it, that even then I think that I was, that I would do this that this was something I'd do for my whole life, and I sort of made that deal with myself to commit fully, and just go for it, and stay in. It's like, it's the guys that stay in it and keep going and that end up, having making a career for themselves. And so I'm just committed to sticking by it. It's a promise I made to myself, basically. But that's what I've always done since, age 15, just committed to
Right.
recording, you know, artwork that I think is compelling and worthwhile and, affecting. And it's been great. This is the life that I always wanted. It really is.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So playing live,
Mm-hmm.
you spent an incredible amount of time on stage over, the past 2 years. Tell us about the upcoming live plans for 2017. Are you sticking close to home, or are you planning on taking yourself out on the road again?
Yeah, I think that I'll definitely do a lot of touring this coming year. I've just actually recently started a band with a couple of friends of mine, a little side project that actually become probably my main priority. It's a band called Me and My Brother, and it's me and my friend Skylar Fisk, who in her own right is a wonderful singer-songwriter, and my friend Sam Wilson, who is the guitar player in Sons of Bill. So we got together earlier this year and recorded a song that Skylar and I had written together, and it turned out great. We recorded the tune at Sam's studio in Virginia, here in Crozet, Virginia, and we decided to take the show on the road. So we booked actually a tour in 2 parts. We went out and played some shows in Texas and in California together, and it ended up feeling so good that we kind of we didn't quite know it in the beginning, but we were soon told that we should probably take it more seriously, or maybe consider being a proper band. But so I've got that project going on, and it's been really fun. We've got some dates coming up together in February, in the new year. But I'm also going to make a new solo record, and probably tour extensively on that as well. I think that I have plans to probably go to Europe some point this year,
Awesome.
and tour in America, everywhere, I hope. But this is probably, it's looking like it will be an incredibly busy year of live performances, which is great, because getting up on stage and doing that's really where I feel truly satisfied as an artist. I love recording and writing, but the true satisfaction for me comes from getting up and being able to sing these songs and play these songs for people, and see the reactions and entertain and tell stories, and I want to make them laugh and make them cry, and
Definitely.
that's kind of that's where I get my real joy, is getting up and performing. I love it. It's my favorite thing to do. So it's going to be a busy year, I think.
All right.
Full of singing and playing.
Yes, sir.
Which is the best.
It is, most definitely. So we may be getting a little personal here, but, my mind is inquiring. How does this work with being in a committed relationship or a marriage even?
Well, it's certainly not easy. I mean, it takes, I've been in a few serious relationships. I was married, and it takes a great deal of sacrifice. And I think that it does work, and plenty of people make it work. But whoever you're, if I could give advice to anyone coming up, in this industry, that it takes a lot of patience and understanding from a partner, and because you really do have to sacrifice. You're called away often, to go on tour and play, and it's just you got to find someone who really understands that, and will love you regardless, and you have to cherish the time that you have at home, because and find different ways to see each other. You can bringing them on the road or flying someone out. You know, I'm in a relationship now, and it's happy, and I'm lucky that I found someone that understands the business and the sacrifices that it takes to make it in a life of playing music. You know, it's like it's hard. You live on the road. I've been living out of a suitcase for the last 3 months. You know, and I've been here and there and everywhere, and you just have to have patience and trust and all of the the regular stuff that comes with a successful relationship. But it's not easy. It's not easy, man. It just takes understanding, you know.
Definitely. All right, you heard them. For all you artists out there listening right now, what it takes to have a good or great committed relationship is a great understanding.
It can work. It can work.
Yeah, a lot of them, they listen to my stories because I've actually lost a marriage to music. So having someone who it's actually working for is too cool and a lighter side than my darker story.
Oh, yeah. No, it's I've been through the darkness. You and me both, brother.
Yes, sir.
But, it's like this is, anyone getting involved with someone in a career like this, it's like, this is something we've just got to do. I feel like you probably feel the same way. It's like, it's not a choice either of us could make. It's like we've got to do this, And this is a plan and a dream I've had my entire life, and so, there's no way I could step away from what I'm doing. This is my life's work, and so, if somebody wants to get involved with all of that, and I think it's wonderful. I think that, I want to share. I want to share this with someone special, and it just takes finding that the right person,
Yes, indeed.
But it should never be a reason either not to get involved or not to let yourself be vulnerable and fall in love. That you can't help that.
Oh yeah. All right, guys, take that from Carl, man. It's hope for us all out there. All right, us music journalist types. Well, we always find a way to ask about who influenced your music and blah, blah, blah. I want to take it a step further tonight, and I've already read some names and heard some things and how they can influence your music when recorded. But tell me about taking your music to the stage. I know we've been talking about the stage for a minute. And how have these bands or artists and the way they come about their own live shows help guide you in doing what you do personally on stage now? You know what I mean? Like, what are the qualities you saw from other bands and artists on stage that you knew would bring it, to their own shows that you apply to your own thing?
Well, I've always really loved. When growing up going to shows, I've always really admired artists who have the ability to fully entertain, beyond, going. You see a lot of bands sort of just going through the motions, but I've always really looked up to artists who can tell stories and who where the banter is just as good as the songs themselves. And so I sort of modeled myself after, these singer-songwriters who can get up alone on stage and just captivate an audience, with their stories and their songs. But so that's sort of what I have aspired to. The kind of performer I've aspired to be is someone who can get up and really, and can make you laugh. And, I like to be sort of goofy and hilarious on stage. It's one of my favorite. I love to make the banter light and fun, and not be afraid to get a little weird with people on stage, and just because that's the kind of show I would like to see. Is I would want to go in and be surprised, or just I like it to be unpredictable, basically. But and everything, it's growing up and throughout my teenage years and my early adulthood, all I did really was play music and write my own songs, and then when I wasn't doing that, I was out seeing shows and studying other performers and taking these little things that I saw them do and trying that out myself and making it my own. And I think that it's just an ever evolving process. It's I try and never tell the same jokes night after night. I like for it to always to be a clean slate and a brand new performance, unique to that venue and that evening. And so it's exciting. There's always something new to try. But yeah, so I've just learned a lot. All the bands and artists I've seen over the years I've taken a little something away from the good ones and managed to use that, I think, to create my own style. It's probably the most exciting aspect of music for me is getting up and interacting with a crowd.
Definitely.
It's always different.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's just like you can say, I just played in Philadelphia and it was like, it was a tough crowd, man. Like they weren't laughing at anything, and it was like, but playing through that, it's like you just gotta have to blindly push yourself through a performance sometimes, but they're not always gonna die laughing,
Right.
But they seem to get towards the end.
Definitely. So, Carl.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we have so many different ways that people can connect to us while we're broadcasting. And I just received a text that you did something really cool in Philadelphia.
What's that?
You performed a song or dedicated a song for a couple on their wedding day.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I was lucky to run into a couple of really special people. They'd come to see me in Sellersville, I think about a year ago, and they came back to this recent show in Philadelphia at the Boot and Saddle, and they'd come to see me on the eve of their wedding, and it's about the highest form of flattery any artist can receive, I think, is for anyone wanting to share their wedding night with me and my band. So that was pretty cool. They had mentioned that they loved one song in particular, and I wanted to make sure that I played that for them, and so I was able to dedicate it to them and sing it, and it was just a special moment, and really, really grateful for people coming out to the shows, especially on their wedding night.
Yeah, man,
pretty wild.
That is super awesome of them,
yeah.
And super badass of you, man. You're massive.
Man, they were great people.
Yeah,
they're
man.
Such great folks. And I hope they're listening right now.
I assume they are, because they just text me out of the blue. Like, how did you get this number? Nah, really.
Nice.
No, it was nothing like that. But, yeah, they reached out, and I asked if I could share it. I don't want to infringe on, like, private moments like that, because that is, like you said, that's the highest form of flattery. And, like, it's our wedding night. or
Yeah,
wedding
it was
day.
pretty wild, man.
So yeah, man.
Yeah, it was pretty
Memories.
special.
That's what it's all about. Memories.
Exactly. I'll never forget that.
Yes.
We had a wonderful conversation after the show too. It was great. It's great to make that connection with people that care about you, and to know that people have your back, and in that way, it really makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, and I know I refer to artists a lot during my podcast because most of the audience are artists and fans.
Yeah.
So artists, again, I'm gonna address you guys. You see what Carl does? When I was talking about turning fans into super fans, well, he took it a step further. He turned fans into family.
Exactly.
Family
it really
is so
like
much
family. Yeah.
a deeper connection on any level when the music is a universal language of love, right?
Absolutely.
So, take a page out of Carl's book.
Exactly. Don't be afraid
to. That. Yeah,
don't be afraid to. Yeah, well, it's pretty cool, and now that everything is so, I enjoy having a private life, but it's like, if I can't, I want to reach out and talk to these folks that help me, have a career in music. It's like we can't do it without them, and so it's really important to remain grateful and talk to these wonderful people that make it all happen for you, basically. Buy your music, and they come to your shows, and it's
Yes.
you can never take for granted the fans. And calling them fans even sounds kind of weird, but because
Yes.
it's like these are friends, these are friends.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of that, how would you say that your music has grown over time?
I think that I think that, as the years go on, I learn more about, the craft of songwriting, and as I get closer to death, I begin to become this. You start to sense your own mortality. No, I'm kidding. Not really, but I think that it just you just, I don't know. There's something about getting older, and you learn more about yourself, and I like to think that you just get better and better at what you do. More practice. You're out doing it, and it becomes more difficult to impress yourself. You'll never again have that feeling of writing your first songs where it's just like, it feels like the skies part and angels sing, and you just can't believe what you've come up with. But
Right.
I think it just becomes a more difficult task to give yourself goosebumps or to blow yourself away a little bit. But so you're always looking for that feeling. You're always searching for that feeling. And that's how when an idea is really good or worth following down, is when you get that old good time feeling that you used to get as a younger person creating art, And I still find that feeling occasionally, but it doesn't happen as often, I will say. Definitely. You're just more aware,
Yes, sir. So looking back at I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
All right. Looking back at Risk of Loss, what does it sound like to you personally? Like within the music, can you hear your own autobiography in there?
Yeah, I can. When I listen to it, which I don't often, but when I do hear it, I imagine where I was when I was writing those songs, which was in Charlottesville, and I was living in this basement apartment. It's kind of a dump, actually, but yeah, it takes me back to where I was, when I was when I was writing it, you know, and that was a sort of afraid, younger artist. When I wrote that record, I was, you know, I'm still a rather undeveloped entity, but I was certainly not as far along as I am now, you know, and I can hear the fight, you know, I can hear the desire to be taken seriously, you know, and a lot of those songs I came up with I wrote all of them more or less in the span of 3 or 4 months, and it was just one of those. I was just flooded with ideas, and I knew that it was a record, and was lucky enough to have a great studio to go and record in Louisa County, outside of Charlottesville, a studio called White Star, and so yeah, I definitely hear. When I listen to it, I definitely imagine where I was, you know. It's special. Records are special for that reason. They just take you back. You know, it was a simpler time.
I got you.
But yeah, it's a mystery to me, you know, in some ways. You know, I just lucky enough to grasp onto those songs and, you know, and remember them long enough to record them.
Yes,
I don't really write much down, and so I think that the good ideas or the worthwhile ideas are ones that I'll remember off the top of my head. And yeah, it's a special album. I really appreciate it getting out there a little bit more and having the opportunity to re-release it, because it came out in about a year ago, or more than a year ago, and it's just been re-released, which I was really happy about, because I think that when you're putting out records independently, it's like it felt like it's sort of, you know, sometimes the records feel like they die on the vine a little bit, and they don't quite reach the audience that you imagine they would. But I'm happy to see this record continuing to get traction, and people are still discovering it. And I get emails from people that really love it, and so yeah, I hear myself in it for sure. A young, fearful artist.
Okay. With each recording, I assume that you can almost still visualize where and who you were as an artist even now. And you just mentioned a few things like that. And that has to be a cool kind of side benefit of being around, you know, working your way through the industry, or through the mud of the industry. Tell us a story behind one of those times. Take us back to when you recorded one of those great songs, and share one of those memories that make that time as awesome as it was and still is. And if I had like some memory lane music, I would play it right now, but I'm kind of short on that. So,
man, I think that a favorite memory of mine is the record release show for Risk of Loss. I did a big show in Charlottesville when it came out, and it's a powerful moment to share the record with my hometown, Charlottesville, and just going back and thinking about having recorded it. It was like, especially my first record, my record Wolftown, which I put out in 2010. I've been listening back on that record and thinking about the process and the week we spent recording it, and I really had no idea what I was doing, but there's such magic there, you know. You tend to be so naive on those early recordings, but you'll never again be able to quite tap into something so pure, you know.
Yeah.
Because you're just so unaware of what you're doing, and really the business angle aspect of music has yet to, you know, infiltrate your your process, and you do eventually. If you work in music long enough, it really becomes like you really have to work to keep that separate, because your inclination, as time goes on, it's to like you're just far more aware of the business, and you really have to work to keep it separate. But I'm not sure I totally understood your question. I don't know if that answers your question at all.
It does. It does.
But yeah.
Okay. So there's all kinds of places that people can go to find out about you and your music. And when this show posts in iTunes, there will be a link to your main website, which does give them keys to everywhere you are and where you post. But is there one that you would want to point out that you are there the most active?
Yeah, I think that my Instagram account is I'm on that quite a bit. It's my handle is Carl Anderson Music, and I think everyone listening should go on Instagram and follow me at Carl Anderson Music. I post a lot of show information and just interesting videos from my day-to-day life, which some people might find interesting, but I think I've always liked pictures a lot, and I try and keep that really up to date. But so I would suggest going to my Instagram, Carl Anderson Music. Check it out. Check me out now.
Yes, check them out. Follow. Follow
me up.
Yeah, don't stalk. Just follow. All right.
Absolutely.
I would like to thank you once again, Carl Anderson. It's an incredible gift to be able to talk to a talented artist with some possible longevity in this industry. Man, it can get so rough out there. And I know,
it.
Yeah, no matter how hard I could try and how many podcasts I could broadcast, I still could not get everything that I wanted to ask you that you may want to talk about. So here's a final spot for you to say anything at all that you want. This is what I call the Vigilantes Radio Open Floor, but for tonight, we're just going to call this segment the Carl Anderson segment, where you just take over. So, have at it.
Man, I just think that, I'll speak to any artist listening who is trying to make their way through this cruel world and often cruel industry. I think that I want to speak to those people and say that it's always not to give up or give in, and don't be afraid to fail. You're going to fail over and over again as an artist, and that's okay. That's what makes you strong. And I think that if you love playing music, or if you love painting or making sculptures, that you should go out and do that, and not to be afraid of when people tell you it's not worth it, to push those people to the side a little bit and do your thing. But I'm just truly happy to be playing music and making records and writing songs, and I guess thank you for listening, and I hope you'll go and buy the records and keep supporting artists like me, and because we do appreciate it. It's how we make our living.
Definitely.
And this podcast is awesome. This is the best podcast in the world.
Oh man,
you kill it.
Thank
you crush
you,
it,
man.
It's great.
You got me blushing, man, and that's not gangster to do that.
No, man, you're the shiznit.
All right, man. I really do appreciate that. So listen, check it out. After the music break, it'll be time for our traditional hot seat. Our segment is and we call it the hot seat. If you're up for it, our fans absolutely love this part of the segment, and of course, along with the actual interview. But the audience get to hear either some vocals, poem, written work, spoken word, freestyle rap, jokes, stories, live instruments from our special guests. And Carl told me before the show he's gonna do a freestyle rap. So that's cool, right?
Yeah, I'm down.
He didn't say that. Well, you never know what these creative minds and vessels like Carl will produce in the spotlight. So tonight, yes, tonight, we'll find out if Carl Anderson have what it takes to be put on the spot, a test of his true artistry. So let's see what we have here. Here is Carl Anderson, Not Forgotten You.
It's been a while since I last saw you. I hope you're doing well. Picking your guitar, sleeping in your car when you can't afford a cheap motel. Oh man, all the things that we've been through, letting our hearts turn from black to blue. Seasons change, hardly anything the same. I have not forgotten you. I sang along to the songs you used to play in the back room of that old cafe. Yeah, you played for tips so you could get your fix, drink your fill and sleep all day. Oh man, all the things that we've been through, letting our hearts turn from black to blue. Seasons change, hardly anything the same. I have not forgotten you. Yeah. I don't sing no songs anymore. I have not forgotten you. I did all I could to shut that door. I have not forgotten you. I know in this world our love can't be. I have not forgotten you. You ever wake up in the middle of the night and expect to find me? Yeah. Oh man, all the things that we've been through, and our hearts turn black to blue. Seasons change, hardly anything the same. I have not forgotten you. Yeah, yeah. Seasons change, hardly anything the same. I have not forgotten you.
Man, oh man, what a fresh breath of air listening to that music. My God, and such a unique vocal signature. Man, that is some real stuff, Carl.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Definitely, man.
Haven't heard that in a while. Sounds good.
Yeah, I should start doing music reviews, I think.
You should.
That was phenomenal, man. Phenomenal. I see why
Thank
you're so massive now. And you're doing wedding songs and stagecoach and all this cool stuff. Because, man, you're super talented.
I appreciate it, man.
My, oh, my, oh, my.
Thank you.
Definitely, definitely. So, it's that time, hot seat time.
Oh, man.
You have.
And I'd love to recite like a little poem that I've known for a long time.
Okay.
All right. My dad used to say this. He used to recite this poem, and I don't know who it's by, but I like it. It goes like this. One dark night, when the moon was bright, 2 dead soldiers got up to fight. Back to back they faced each other, drew their swords and shot each other. One deaf policeman heard the noise, came and shot those 2 dead boys. If you don't believe me, ask the blind man. He saw it all on the radio. That's it. The end. You like that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, definitely.
You'll have to listen back to that one.
I don't know, man. It was kind of spooky, man. I don't know.
It's very spooky.
Yeah, it was very spooky. So, we have a few callers on the line.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so do you want to take some questions?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Bring them on.
All right, so listen, callers, I will call out the last 4 digits of your phone number. You know, I won't call the whole number out. You don't want people just calling you like me. I'll call you at 3 a.m. in the morning. Hey, what are you doing? Make me a turkey sandwich. No. Okay, so let's get to it. Caller 0355, you're live with Carl Anderson. How are you? Okay, a shy one. Go to another one. It's okay. That happens. All right. Let's see. Caller 8886. You're live with Carl Anderson. How are you? Okay. Another shy one. That's okay. Caller 5144. You are live with Carl Anderson. How are you?
Hello.
Nothing. Jeez.
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Maybe they can't for some reason.
Oh, well. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that is okay.
That's all good.
It is all good. You're still massive. All right, man. Thank you so much for your time. And I hope to hear more success stories. Oh, man, no doubt. From you and in all of the future from now, you know. Be sure to check out Carl Anderson and support him at his page. Who knows, maybe we can get him over in person one day. So show your support by liking his Facebook page over at facebook.com/the Carl Anderson. Poke him a few times, like the page, follow. And that is it.
All right.
Anything else, Mr. Anderson?
No, I don't think so, man. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, my pleasure. So if you need to premiere some new tunes or anything like that, man, holler at Deanie.
Sounds good, man.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you guys for always checking out my podcast over here at Vigilantes Radio. All the episodes are available for free download, and you can grab that from the browser if you're a fan of Spreaker by going to Spreaker.com/only1mediagroup or iTunes, or at my website, which I very prefer because of my traffic count, right? Yeah. Promotion. Okay, which is onlyonemediagroup.com. Have a look around, and that goes for every single show that I've ever aired. If you like to request music, or maybe invite a guest to come back, or send something for me to play, email it to vradio@onlyonemediagroup.com. And here is my disclaimer: I am genre-free. I do not judge, and I do not base my opinions on hearsay, but facts. And actually scratch all of that, because all of my opinions are always right, and that's just the bottom line, so you got to deal with it. Nah, just kidding. On behalf of myself, Deanie Mussolini, I appreciate you guys for tuning in either afterwards or live with us. Do spread the word. Another special thanks to my guest tonight, Carl Anderson, for joining us tonight. Man, we stepped our game up just for you guys and to make sure our guests have the best experience here on our show. You know, Deanie just may end up on a song or two. I do it all, guys. Okay, well, here it is. Just remember to be yourself and be absolutely freaking good at it. Peace and good night.